Okay, welcome back to the presentation. So, for the continuation of my report, I would like to proceed now to a cleaner copy. So, this is how I rewrote the entire paper. So, after the introduction, the in the introduction so far, the study aimed to identify the perceptions and the plan of action of campus papers in Naga City, represented by their advisors during the COVID-19 pandemic. It sought to answer these questions. Number one, what are the perceptions of the school paper advisors about the challenges that campus papers, not campus journalism, confront during the pandemic? What activities do school paper advisors plan to undertake for 2020, 2021? And what programs can be adopted by campus papers in the new normal? For the materials and methods, the study used the quantitative method to collect information about the Naga City School Paper Advisors' perceptions of the challenges and plans of action during the pandemic. The respondents were teachers designated as school papers in the elementary and high school levels for the same school year, no? But they represent various public and private schools in Naga City. The researcher used purposive and communicated with the respondents through Facebook Messenger. The researcher sent a survey link to 30 school paper advisors. Of this number, only four did not respond. So 26 out of 30 respondents. Okay, we have the first information. Table 1 names the or lists the names, types, and levels of schools and the school publications themselves. Okay. The study used a questionnaire to gather quantitative data on the perceptions and challenges and the plans of action of school paper advisors. And the researcher made questionnaire was generated through Google Forms. This was in 2020. The survey questionnaire consisted of four parts. The first part asked the respondents' personal information, including name, name of school, publication name, type, and school level. This is this one, no? The table one which was generated. The second part already asked questions or statements. It listed 10 statements about school publications in the time of pandemic. It also contained 5-point Likert scale with the following responses: strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree. The third part of the questionnaire asked for the plans of action of the school paper advisors, and then they were also given to answer one multiple response question in which they must check which among the given activities they plan to accomplish. In other words, they were given options as to the plans of action. Finally, the questionnaire included an open ended question that asks the respondents' own suggestion on possible programs that they can adapt in the new normal. Under the materials and methods, the researcher used the weighted mean to analyze the respondents' perceptions. Frequency and ranking were also used to analyze the respondents' plans of action and suggested programs. Okay, going on now to the results and discussion. The study identified the school papers advisors' perceptions and their plans of action toward the new normal. So there are two things that were evaluated, no, the perceptions of the pandemic or of the pandemic and their plans of action despite the pandemic. Okay, in this study, perception is defined as a person's way of conceiving something, including their knowledge gained through such activity. The plan of action, meanwhile, refers to the respondent's set of activities which they will implement in the following school year. So these were the results. Table 2, perceptions of the challenges faced by school publications during the pandemic. No? Table 2 shows that the school papers strongly agree with the statements about the important role of campus journalism during the pandemic or the school papers. School publication as a source of information, internet as a tool for campus journalism, school publication being able to uplift the spirit of readers, school publications influencing readers to take action, and campus journalism being strongly challenged during the pandemic. Uh, They also strongly agreed as regards to they being able to continue training students. Despite the challenges being faced by the school publications, respondents strongly valued the roles that campus journalism plays during the pandemic. They also believe that the internet is a useful tool and the training must continue in the new normal. These data correspond with Bagayas 2020, who said that campus journalists must tell stories of their community using online platforms in the midst of the pandemic. According to Bagayas, campus journalists are storytellers who shed light on issues. For example, the cited literature Bagayas, authored by Bagayas, identified UPLB's perspective, which featured the ordeals of their 2,000 students who were stranded in the campus during the lockdown. It also cited Cagayan de Oro's Choir, which shared about the university's efforts to produce alcohol for frontliners. The respondents also agreed to suspend press conferences in order to protect uh, public health and safety, as shown in the weighted mean of 4.04, which shows that most school paper advisors understand the suspension of crowd drawing events like the school's press conference or NSPC as precautionary measure against COVID-19. Furthermore, Punsalan 2020 cited that the cancellation of NSPC does not mean that campus journalism will be gone. He rather emphasized that campus journalism just goes beyond medals and certificates. However, the respondents were neutral about the new normal, which now prevents them from doing their tasks, as shown in the weighted means of 2.5 and 3.31. Okay, they in a way they were ambivalent as regards to doing their task and still publishing the papers. These data show that the school paper advisors were undecided as regards the difficulties that they may encounter in performing their tasks in the new normal, including publishing their papers. This corresponds to the paper by Jarar, who interviewed campus journalists who continued bringing the news amidst the pandemic. Most of these Oregonians decided to stay, but some stopped working. For those who continue, the major challenge they face is not having school events to cover. Other school paper or school campus journalists had difficulty on obtaining reliable pieces of information, capturing photos due to social distancing protocols, and working remotely. But most of them also stopped printing and switched to publishing online. Overall, as the results showed, the respondents strongly agreed to the statements with an average weighted mean of 4.34. In other words, the school paper advisors have a positive look about their school papers' existence despite the pandemic, which can be linked to the resiliency theory. According to Moore, 2020, how people deal with adversity is more important than the nature of the difficulty. Moore cites that resilience helps people survive, recover, and thrive during crisis. Furthermore, perspectives help in understanding how people's beliefs affect their experiences. As such, adapting positively to the situation is important in overcoming life's challenges. That's all the results and discussion, or that's the first part of the results.